Good, 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 good. We got a lot of little plays going on over here. Cool. Brian, what's your favorite out of those? Okay. Alright. A lot of action in the markets last couple days. So we're gapping up again. You can see kind of we're just straight pre-market trending over here. So we had that. What's your favorite out of those? Whoa. What's going on? Alright, so yeah, you can see we had the ORB in the market at the open. And then we just sat around the rest of the day. That's the way it goes sometimes. You got to always be a little bit mindful of, when you're getting a little bit overbought, you can just pull up and go sideways. So that's kind of what happened the other day. We're starting to kind of grind pre-market. As I told you, man, these gaps stink because when you get the big gap, it's kind of like you take out a lot of the range in the market. We're getting into kind of day 3 of the gap. We're at the top of the Bollinger Band. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of consolidation or snapback in the markets. Don't be afraid if you start to see, that sideways movement. That's just the nature of the game when you get a little bit overbought. Right now, we're having the same kind of thing in the S&P, 84 stochastics. We're starting to trend up. We're not necessarily extended. We're just overbought, so we may have to kind of chill around for a little bit. But there's definitely a little bit of upside probably left, but not too much just because you're running at the top of that Bollinger Band. So we've got to be careful. When you start to see strength, you don't want to chase strength. When the market gets overbought, you don't want to chase strength. You want to go and hit things on dips and stuff, right? That was a mistake I made on TLROY yesterday. I was like, damn thing's so extended, and, trying to get it up too high, I got stuck in these kind of dumps, and then, later on, it ended up busting out when it really tightened up. Little sucker, right? Well, I just screwed the trade up, but that's the nature of the game when you get a little bit excited. So all these little pod stocks are gapping down. The dips may be bought in them, but I think you're going to need to see like significant dips or like you want to see some real pullbacks before you just come in and try to bottom these things out because they are up so much. One day doesn't make a dip, it just makes it a dip, right? It doesn't make it something we can pull back. So these are off the list for today. You can already see the CGC is just getting smoked. Not smoked, but it's down $4 or so. I think we need to see this thing closer to that 39 to 36 range before, we can get really excited about it. Because in the end, it's got, 88 stochastics. It's up 7 days in a row. We got to leave that alone. Add DSW to the list. This thing's about to break out. It's probably not going to be the hottest mover, obviously. It's a damn shoe store, but retail's been a hot sector this year. Keep this Brooks Automation on the list. You're kind of breaking out this trend line. You may come here and attack these highs. It's only got a 53 million share float, so it should be okay in terms of movement. TIFF is about to break out the highs too. TIFF has never been like a good mover, but you can see the last time it had earnings, it popped up and went from 116 to 126 right off the bat in the morning. So that's going to be something that we've got to be really, really attacking too. It never moves well, but it does move okay on earnings day, so that's okay. Huya, man, I missed the boat on this thing yesterday. Somebody had actually mentioned this in the morning. This Huya and IQ look hot, and I'm like, nah, they're under resistance, and then they just broke over the fucking resistance, and go figure, right? They were off to the races. If this thing can hold the 20 SMA there, you may see a run to 33. That's just the nature of the game here. Keep this AKA on watch for a short, but only if it's under 2388. Only if it's under 2388. So Billy reported too. Yeah, so like a lot of these will be on your kind of watch list today, but this AKA only under 2382. We got this Fan H. This thing was getting smoked out yesterday on some news. You're opening up weak pre-market. I think this one we'll watch on for ORB or quick pullback. The caveat on this one is going to be liquidity. If the liquidity is not there, we'll leave it alone. This AFMD is for you penny poppers. You know who you degenerates are. Just kidding. This thing is already up like 300%. I don't know if it's... Oh, it's on a buyout. Possible $5 billion Genentech deal. Who knows? It may be in play today. It's not a low float stock by any means for a dollar stock. I keep an eye on it though and see how this stuff works. And then AMD is probably my favorite for today. This thing had really climactic volume yesterday. 324. Some monster volume, had a little bit of a reversal candle. I'd watch this one too. Like this one kind of breaks out of this range. I think this one's going to get smoked. Not smoked because it's actually too thick to get smoked. But we may have a couple dollars downside on this thing. Look for a green to red or something like that before you try to short this thing. Don't chase it into the hole. It'll set up. It's got good enough range when it starts to move that we should be able to take our buck or so when we get into this thing. I do like the action on this one. We had that nice fade yesterday. We caught it after the VWAP for a little bit, but nothing too crazy. On your regular watch list, keep SPLK. This is going to need another day or two to just consolidate over this breakout level, but it's so far holding up pretty well. Looking still at Sono for a potential bounce. Now you got your third day. 3 days on momentum stocks is usually, usually the pullback spot. This now is still right at breakout too. It tried to push yesterday, but it held back under. We'll watch this thing if it can bust back over it. It looks pretty good. And then the rest of the list is just dry. There was almost no action yesterday due to the gap. So our focus will be on these Chinese stocks. This one needs to get over this level right here. So I'd add all the little Chinese stocks. Billy, Huya. And you know what? When money goes out of pot, they may come in and come into the other one. So that's going to be the nature of the game too. Some cryptos actually taking off today too. So I definitely keep NEO. If you're trading cryptos, we're long some NEO, and this ONT is super hot too. These are going to be heaters here. Something like this is a hot setup. You could roll 5,000-6,000 shares of this and rip, a buck or two on it. It's got, man, this thing used to be $8, but you can see how clean this bad boy is right now. If it comes out of this range right here, it's going to go bananas, maybe to $4. So definitely that's my fave for today. Is NEO and ONT. You can see I'm long some NEO right now. But you can see this thing is starting to really, really heat up. It just did a flat top breakout this morning. I added this about 20 minutes ago. Right at the breakout spot here. Only a couple thousand shares so far. We'll see. This thing's got a lot of upside potentially to it. I think this thing gets to 26. So something if you're trading cryptos to keep an eye on. So the faves are going to be the Chinese stocks. Dun, 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 dun. IQ, Huya, Billy. And then the AMD short. That's my top list. The rest of this stuff is going to be probably a little bit secondary, like DSW and shit like that. One of the things I always think about, like when you're thinking about like your watch list, is like I always ask myself, like, would I really trade this? Sometimes you put stocks on your watch list, right? But you got to always ask yourself, like, would I really trade this? If the answer is no, like you just don't see yourself trading it, then you got to start, cutting that off the list, because that's just, you're never going to do it anyway, so then you want to leave it alone. So that is it, my friends. Let's go have a fun day. I took a loss yesterday, which sucks. First time in a while. I had a losing day, but we are ready to shred this thing today. I'll be on probably till noonish or till I hit my goals. I did sneak back yesterday to trade. So who knows? We're all degenerates in that way. Every time we leave, we just sneak back in. Dun, 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 dun. TQQ, SOXL, those are going to look good. I would just keep I would make sure that you're not chasing those things up. Remember the market's a little bit overbought, and so, we definitely want to make sure that we're not chasing anything. If you're going to play ETFs, wait a little bit till you get a good confirmation that the market's back at a level that you think is going to be good. Oh man, this thing is starting to spike. All right, let's go time, baby. Let's go out and make some money. Let's get the music on and do what we got to do. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way.